Hey, it's Seto Kaiba, and you're watching Anime Egotists. I don't know why. These guys don't know how to duel, unless they learned from Yugi, who cheats, or maybe Joey, who's a dog. Oh, why don't you have some more jelly donuts, like Brock, and maybe you'll get better. Not. Oh, and I play my Blue Eyes White Dragon and kick your butts.
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where you definitely would want to eat ramen with us. Not because of the quality of people we are, but because the ramen makes it worth it.
Yeah, that's the only reason I can't hang out with you anymore is because we go get ramen.
I mean, let's not act like you're the only one suffering here, but regardless. My name's Alex, and I've gotten lost in the hyperbolic time chamber before. It gets kind of lonely sometimes.
And I'm Richard. I'm the one who found him and let him out.
Yeah, big mistake on your part. But what wasn't a mistake is the characters that we picked that we thought, these are the anime characters that we could be friends with. We could be cool with these people.
Exactly. So yeah, in our previous video, we went over, previous podcast, we went over the characters that we think we could be friends with, that would make a good addition to our friend group, that sort of thing. But today we're here to discuss the characters that we wouldn't be able to make work probably in our friend group. They wouldn't get along with us or just stuff like that.
Yeah, and just a heads up, a lot of these, in my opinion, are characters that I actually like, that I actually think, as a character, this is a person I can hang with. This is a person whose time on screen I generally enjoy. Not all of them, but most of these characters. But frankly, these aren't really people who I think, if I lived here, or if they lived here or something like that, it might not work.
Exactly. It's just something about them doesn't make us friends with them, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah. But so we're going to talk about characters who, like we said, we just don't think we'd get along with, for better or for worse. Heads up, there's going to be some controversial characters on this list. You're just going to kind of have to get over with that. Also, we didn't necessarily talk about this, but I'd like to think that most of these characters would be around our age. Like, it just seems easier.
Exactly. Just age them up to the point, or age them down to the point that they're in their mid-20s, pretty much.
Yeah, if we ever get like really big and we have to do other topics for this channel, there's not a doubt in my mind that we're gonna have to say that a couple of different times. But we're not here to talk about husbandos and waifus. We're here to talk about some of the worst friends we'd have in anime. May I please start us off?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so I tried to incorporate a couple of anime that we don't really talk about that much, even though this kind of feels like cheating with that. But I'm gonna say Anna Kaboom from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal.
Okay.
Alright, so I like Anna Kaboom, and it seems like a lot of people really like her. She's like one of the few females who is like a rival love interest in Yu-Gi-Oh! Who actually seems to be more liked than the main girl, Tori. She's confident, she's kind of a badass at times. She's a pretty cool character, and she has an amazing theme song in Duel Links. That being said, though, she's also really temperamental and has a cannon that she shoots at people. That's not really going to fly with me. Also, there's the whole thing of her having a crush on the main character, Yuma, which, I'm gonna be honest, she's one of the few people who's, like, not that open about it. But I feel like I'd get annoyed of it pretty quick. Plus, getting blasted every 5 seconds doesn't seem like it'd be fun. That being said, if we were just talking about trains or something like that, we'd be cool. But overall, Anna Kaboom, not my first choice. But she's so low on the list because she's a really cool character. I'm trying not to get blasted a lot.
I can understand that. Yeah. I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal at all. I don't think I even made it through the first episode when I tried to watch part of it. So we're just saying something because I made it through like Arc 5's first 3 episodes at one point. So
How was that?
I found it more entertaining than Zexal. I know that much.
Just a heads up, I've heard the first half of Zexal is bad, but the second half gets better. Conversely, I've heard the first half of Arc 5 is great, but everything after that is terrible. So pick your poison, I guess.
Yeah, so I'll have to co-sign. I don't know the character, and I haven't played much of the Zexal part of Duel Links, so I don't know the characters from the game that well.
Yeah, just look up her theme song. It's everybody's favorite theme song in Duel Links right now. But then again, that's pretty easy considering they'll give the same theme song to 7 different characters in GX. I'll get over that never. But Anna Kaboom, you seem like a nice girl, but you're not the first person I'd invite to a party.
I can understand that. So my first one is Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. So
is he the blonde?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when he's awake, he is just so annoying. If he slept the entire time, it'd be fine because he could still interact with things, but he's quiet and he doesn't propose to every girl it seems like he sees. He's not constantly crying and wussing out on everything that could possibly go wrong. He's like all the worst tropes when he's awake. He's the wuss. He's the overly flirtatious character. It's just they give him such a bad personality when he's awake. And yet I know that there are people who like him, and maybe he grows as the series goes on. I've only seen up to part of the Entertainment District arc, so I don't know where he's going from here, but just his personality just doesn't work. And I would find him so annoying and just wanting him to be asleep so he could actually be useful.
So what does he do when he's asleep?
So that's when he actually is able to use like his full power, and he becomes like super fast and able to actually attack demons, and he's like actually brave at that point.
Sure, why not? I really don't know that much Demon Slayer. He's a character who, when I see him, I think to myself, I'm not going to like this character. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I've done that before. There are characters who I think this character is going to suck, and then it turns out I like them. Anna Kaboom is in a similar situation, and I ended up liking her so much more than I thought I would. But overall, I guess I just have to co-sign, because based on the little I've seen of him, he does not seem like the person I want to be friends with. You also said he's flirtatious. Would you say it's more flirtatious or perverted?
For the most part, it's more flirtatious. He doesn't try to peek, but like you first meet him, he's pretty much chasing down this girl trying to propose to her, and she's a complete stranger to him. So he's one of those he's kind of a Brock style. He's not perverted, but he's trying to marry someone, pretty much is all he's trying to do.
And I'd like to think there's a certain perverted character that's going to be on your list, but I'm not holding my breath. But overall, yeah, I guess I can co-sign. I mean, he doesn't seem like my favorite. He wouldn't seem like my favorite character.
Yeah, I like the other two main guys so far better. So I'll just stick with that.
Okay, so my next one?
Go right ahead.
All right, from Soul Eater, Blackstar.
That's on my list.
Oh, please tell me it's an honorable mention.
It was going to be, yes.
All right. Hey, you might have to come up with another honorable mention then. Okay, so Blackstar, it's the same thing we said about Iris in Pokemon. We can acknowledge the character has good moments in solid development, fights, battles, etc., etc. But he is obnoxious. He is so obnoxious. I remember there were times when we first started watching Soul Eater together where I honestly could not get through the episode because he would not shut up about himself. He's such an egotistical jerk, and I would not want to be friends with him. He provides, and the thing is, everyone's like, oh, well, he's super strong and he can use those weapons. I'm like, yeah, but he can use the weapons when his weapon Tsubaki is around. I like her, but if she's not around, why would I want to hang out with Blackstar all by myself? He's just an obnoxious idiot.
Yeah, and he keeps calling himself, oh, I'm a ninja or something, and he's like the loudest, most flamboyant character in the entire series.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Naruto runs around in a bright orange jumpsuit, so I can't necessarily get on Blackstar for that.
True, but Naruto does at least use stealth when it's needed. As far as I remember, Blackstar never actually uses stealth. He just
Yeah,
always appears in the middle of the room.
he normally just barged in, and he also just peeps on a lot of girls and stuff like that. And considering the girls that I said would be my friends in the anime, I would feel too bad. I would feel too guilty if I let Blackstar into our circle. I just don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I can completely co-side. I just, again, he's one of those that follows the bad trope of being too perverted and loud and obnoxious that seem to always end up combined in the same character.
Yeah, yeah, but like, there's another Soul Leader character on my list, but she's an honorable mention. So I'm just gonna say, Black Star, you're the worst. I tried to be nice about Anna Kaboom. I'm not being nice about you. You just no, shoo, go away.
Yeah, as I said, I'll completely co-sign it. This was on my list. It was an honorable mention for me, so
Oh
I can
goodness.
understand.
Yeah. Anyways, who's your next character?
All right, so my next one is Usopp from One Piece.
I thought about adding a One Piece character, but I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
It starts out that he's a compulsive liar. I mean, that's how you're introduced to him, is that he's lying that he's the ruler of a pirate nation that has like 10,000 members strong or something along those lines. It's three little kids in his home village. He has grown to be a little bit more brief, but I still find his fear of everything, despite the fact that he's on par with like a lot of the lieutenants of people of like the higher ups now. It's like, okay, you can kick people's butt now. Why are you still scared of everything? He feels like
How many fights has he won? Because I feel like I've heard that him, Nami, and Chopper are the weakest members of not the guild, the crew.
they are called the weakness trio, I think, or something along those lines. Because there's the monster trio, which is Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, and then those three are the weak trio. But they've won a good number of fights, but everything that seems to happen to Usopp just seems to happen by accident. Like, he's called God Usopp in the anime because he freed all the toys in the Dressrosa arc. This isn't really spoilers because this is like 3 or 4 arcs ago and was filmed like half a decade ago now.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
So, yeah, so just I find him annoying that everything seems to happen to him. He hasn't really shown growth. While he has new abilities, they don't show them off as like him able to kick other people's butt. Now, I think he does pretty well in the next the Wano arc that's currently going on, from my understanding. So maybe my thoughts will change when they get up to that in the anime. But from what I've seen, especially because the post time skip, everybody's supposed to have improved, and he's shown like, besides getting new powers, he hasn't shown any actual growth, in my opinion.
I don't know Usopp nearly as well, but like I said, I kind of feel like I let on I don't know a lot about One Piece when I know enough to where I can have a conversation with someone about it, but I don't know. I'm kind of agreeing and disagreeing, because he does seem like when push comes to shove, he is a good friend to have. Also, I found that a lot of my favorite funny moments from One Piece were with Usopp. But at the same time, we'd have to have somebody on deck to say, okay, can you tell he's lying? We need to be sure. It could be hard, but overall, it might be worth it. Who knows?
I mean, his lies are easy to tell. That's another part about it that's kind of annoying most of the time, because like most of the time it involves some major exaggeration, and the rational part of the crew, so Robin, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, can usually see through it. It's usually the Chopper, Luffy, Brook, and Frankie that fall for it more often.
To be fair, you also have Sanji in your group of friends, so you might work on that. But overall, I can understand, but I think there could be times where I would enjoy having him as a friend.
I can understand that. That's why he's kind of low on my list.
Yeah, alright, so my next one?
Go right ahead.
Chio Yumihara from The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. Alright, so some of you might be thinking, oh, well, Psyche K? I figured you'd be picking Teruhashi or Nendo, but the difference is, Nendo is a very loyal, supportive friend, while Teruhashi, anyways, Yumihara, do you remember Yumihara just based on everything I'm saying?
What was kind of his quirk of like what did he?
Well, first of all, he's not in My Hero, so he doesn't have a
Well,
quirk. So, I know,
but they like they're all crazy in this.
yeah,
series,
I know.
So.
Her personality quirk is that she fell in love with Psyche for no real apparent reason, and he did everything he could to like make her not fall in love with him. And she's very flippant on who she has a crush on.
Okay, I think I remember her. She has like the shorter, lighter brown, blonde hair.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I'm thinking about this from two perspectives. Perspective number one, if she develops a crush on me, I'm just going to be like, okay, let's think about this. You barely know me. You barely know me. How do you think this is going to work out? Because every time she enters a relationship with a person, she notices their flaws and she becomes like some of the reasons where she stops liking people are justified, but at the same time, you don't really feel sorry for her because she jumped into it the second she met them. So I just feel like it would just be a huge waste of time for her to have a crush on me or any of the people around me, and just her talking about nonstop. And I also think of it from another perspective, because one of my problems with season 2 of Psyche K was whenever she would pop up, she would always kind of talk to Psyche and be like, "So, is there anybody you like?" He's like, "No." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." And she got very pushy about it. I said this before in the Pokemon video we did with Toons and Goons and Poke Furlax. I like to think that there are people out there who are just like, you know what? I don't have a romantic partner, but I'm happy. Hey, and we would respect that. She does not. She's very obsessive about that, and I get it's a gag. I understand that. But this is me thinking, would I want to be friends with a person like that? And the answer is no. I have family like that, and it kind of makes me sick. But overall, just not a person I'd want to hang around. Nice person and all, but I'd rather her just not talk, and that's not really a friend. That's just a stuffed animal.
Yeah, I've pretty much only seen her through season 1. I think you watched most of season 2 when I was out of the room when we were roommates, so I don't know much about how her character changed. She seemed fine in the first series. Again, a little pushy, a little wanting a relationship, but she didn't ask others about it that much at that point, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
But again, but yeah, I can kind of understand. I've had people ask the same questions that, and I do know how annoying it can be. So
yeah, it's reasons like this that there are some family members I just don't interact with anymore, and some friends I don't interact with anymore. It's not a good sign when I'm thinking all of these crazy characters we'd interact with. I'm like, they would be better. There are some villains who I'm like, I'd rather be friends with them over Yumihara, but I'm trying not to talk about her as much because a friend of mine got very upset at me for some stuff I say about her. I'm just like, I don't hate her character. She's just not my favorite.
okay.
All right. What's your next one?
So this one, there's just an issue with trust here, I think, that I would have a hard time coming back from, and that's Sasuke from Naruto.
Okay. Yeah.
Just the fact that he betrays everything to try to seek his revenge. Then when he gets his revenge, finds out, oh, it's actually was done for a good reason. Now I like my brother and want revenge against the village. Just all the constant switching. You never know who he's actually going to help. Like he shows up in the final battle. For all you know, he's actually showing up to kill all of you and join the other side.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Sasuke, even without all of that, Sasuke is kind of an oddball. He's very stoic, and I rarely remember him like laughing. besides simple or like one of those psychotic laughs he had throughout the series. I would just find that he's a very hard person to interact with and be like, "Hey man, we're ordering pizza. What do you want?" It's just like, I'm like, "All right, does that mean anchovies or?"
Been good? Okay. Yeah, no, but again, and then at the end of the entire series, it's like, okay, now we trust you again. But you're still not here all the time. It's like I just my big issue with him is that I don't think I would ever be able to trust him after being betrayed by him multiple times in the series. So I just yeah, he does have a hard personality that I think would be harder to get to know, I guess is the right idea behind it as well.
And I can co-sign. Oddly enough, I wasn't even thinking Sasuke. You said that's the only Naruto character on your list, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, because this character wasn't on my list, but I was thinking Rock Lee, because I love him, but I don't want to work out that often.
I can understand that. Yeah. Again, is this kind of like an honorable mention?
Yeah, kind of, but I'm so conflicted on it, so it almost doesn't even count. But that's just a talking point.
But I think the thing is, I mean, he never forces it on anyone. That's the thing about him. He encourages other people to work out with him, but like when he does like the handstand running around the village, he's like, well, if you just feel like jogging, you can join us or something, pretty much, I think is what he would do.
Not to mention, from a more selfish perspective, a lot of Sasuke's techniques have to do with the Sharingan. So if we wanted him to teach us that, he couldn't do it. Lee could teach us some stuff.
Yeah, because everything Lee's has been taught through. I mean, he is a natural taijutsu user, but he's really like he worked hard to get where he is.
Yeah, plus we could be in the Rock Lee show together.
We would be its main villain, wouldn't we?
Yeah, in a sense, but I'd like to think we'd be comedic. But overall, I agree. Sasuke, not my favorite cup of tea, not my friend.
All right. And I think we have one more before honorable mentions.
That is correct. So, my next character?
Go right ahead.
Beerus from Dragon Ball Super.
Okay.
Look, some of you might be thinking, oh, well, you could learn so much from Beerus and everything. I'm like, yeah, but I'd rather be friends with Whis because, sure, he's eccentric and he can be kind of vain at times, but he's not, he is dangerous, but he's not like, there's so far from what we know, he's not all that dangerous. Beerus is dangerous. He is very arrogant, and any slight irritation from him would cause him to blow up the planet, which, one, I'm all for in some aspects, but it would be very tough to manage for him, especially considering I am not a rich man. I can't buy that many sweets just to please him. Also, I doubt he'd see a whole lot of potential in people like us, so I doubt he'd be training us all that often. He'd either be asleep so we couldn't interact with him, or he would just be trying to blow up the earth a lot. So overall, he doesn't seem like somebody who I could be friends with. Plus, he's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, I can pretty much 100% sign on to this. Because even like, okay, you provide something that's good, not great, good, he'll destroy half your planet.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very temperamental, and I don't know. Beerus, not my cup of tea. Like I said, even when he's sleeping, he's asleep. What are we gonna do? If we draw on his face or something like that, he will kill us.
That is very true. And again, yeah, Whis just seems like a much better friend. You'd still provide them with nice sweet things and other delicious foods, but I think he would be like, sweet, come on, I'm training you now. What?
Yeah, and also just think about all the characters we said we'd have as friends. None of them can really stop Beerus. The only one who might be able to is Sakamoto, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Beerus might show up on the day where Sakamoto goes on vacation or something like that.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
But anyways, that's it for me. Beerus, no, thank you.
All right. So my next one
Okay.
is Ryoma Terrakasa. Terasaka, sorry. He's from Assassination Classroom. He's kind of the bully in the first few episodes of the series in the class. His initial, like, the initial main way they try to kill their teacher in this entire thing is a suicide bomber with the main character that was planned by this guy.
Sure,
like,
why not?
Yeah, he's just the fact that that's where he went. I mean, and it's all because they get money if they succeed in killing the teacher at this point. And he's greedy. His entire idea is like, okay, well, we'll sacrifice this loser. Pretty much is their idea and we'll get the money and win the day. And you get very freaky looking. Like, I mean, if you first see this Koro Sensei as this monster at this point, because he's at this point all you've seen him is in his friendly yellow design that you see in most things.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he becomes jet black and very angry and pretty much says, I will kill you. Well, I will kill the people you love because I'm not allowed to touch you if you try something like that again, sacrificing someone else for this.
So you basically just don't think this Ryoma person would be a very good friend, not very loyal, kind of doing whatever it takes, even if it means sacrificing somebody.
Yeah, and manipulative, because he picks specifically the main character because the main character is kind of in a bad spot. He manipulates him into agreeing to be the sacrifice for this.
Yeah, is Ryoma one of the... I feel like I've heard of a couple of characters in Assassination Classroom having not great lives at home. Is Ryoma one of them, or is he just a piece of crap just to be a piece of crap?
I don't remember. I just specifically remember this scene because it's very early on in the series. I know some of the other characters that you're talking about that later on get the same enhancement that the Koro Sensei has. There's the main girl gets it at the very end of the series, and then there's someone they bring it to try to kill Koro Sensei who has the exact same powers. So, and both have had issues because of other things. So he might be. I just don't remember.
There are going to be so many. If people cared, there would be so many comments like, "How do you not remember he was the best character on the show?" Oh, but I've only seen the first couple of episodes of Assassination Classroom. It's a show I'd like to get more into, but just I don't know. But it's so on the bottom of my list compared to other stuff.
I just need a lot more time to be able to go back and watch everything again and watch new stuff as it's coming out. So it's kind of hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah, I understand that. So honorable mentions time?
Yep.
Okay, so these were some of the hardest honorable mentions I had, because I have 3 honorable mentions, and they're all characters that I really like. One of them I shouldn't like as much, but I still like them. But do you mind if I just start off?
Go right ahead.
Okay, the first honorable mention I have is another Soul Eater character, Patty Thompson.
Okay.
Okay, so I like Patty. I think she can be hilarious and she can be uplifting and mature, but she is so bat crap crazy where she's super happy and wants to be friends with everybody. I'd find it kind of intrusive, especially somebody like me who I see happy people and I'm like, ugh, go away. She's an honorable mention because she is a nice person. She is good to her friends, but she is off the wall crazy. And when she gets mad, it is terrifying. Legitimately terrifying.
I only remember her from because she's one of Kid Death's weapons, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I only remember because they only have one spotlight episode, and then we get into the main arc pretty much of the series, if I remember correctly.
Sort of. She's one of those characters who didn't get the most development, but they did a pretty decent job with her, and she's one of the most recognizable characters. But she, like I said, she would just be a lot to handle. Overall, I just feel like if I had multiple people around, we'd be cool. But if it was just me and her one-on-one, we might run into some issues here. So, Patty Thompson, I've mentioned her a couple times on the channel, but overall, she's a nice girl, but overall, it would be tough. It would be tough.
Yeah, I can understand that. So this is one we've kind of discussed in when we were talking about one of the characters on my list,
Sure.
Bakugo from My Hero Academia.
Sure. Okay. I co-sign.
Yeah, he's literally a bully. And I think, and not even like someone who's just beating you up and all that. He literally tells people to go die all the time.
I feel like Jamari has said worse to us, but who knows? But Jamari has charm to him and personality.
Yeah, his threats come off different.
I feel
Bakugo,
like I'm sorry. I feel like I've had people tell me he develops. He is a better character, but at the same time I just look at him and I'm like, no.
when he's supposed to be a hero and he uses his finishing move, which is an explosion, and he yells "die" at someone, I think that kind of qualifies you as a bad person. He's literally telling someone to go die.
Yeah, and I guess I have to co-sign. Did you ever think of any more honorable mentions, or should I just knock my other ones out?
I was able to add another one. Let's see. So this one's very similar, but even more extreme than Zenitsu. And I said he's not as that bad previously, and I still wouldn't be friends with him. And that's Mineta from My Hero Academia.
1000% agree. I am glad he was on your list because I want to have a My Hero character and sully my list. But yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's literally the worst at everything because while he has his moments where he does do heroic things, where he has saved the day in a few different things, whether it's in training or in real life incidents in this series, his main focus is supposed to be the comedic relief and the perverted character. And it's bad because he's peaked on the girls when they're changing in the locker room. There's a hot spring episode during one of the training arcs that he tries to climb the wall to see the women using his quirk. He rushes away from battle on multiple occasions when he could be out there helping. It's just he's such a wuss most of the time. And while there are times where he's been trying, it still just hasn't. He doesn't have enough moments to make up for all the flaws, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, from what I can tell, sometimes I use images of him for the thumbnails of the video. It seems like he grabs a lot of these people or he touches a lot of these people, and I wouldn't feel right about that. I wouldn't feel right about not stopping that.
Yeah, not his worst moment, but he tricks all the females in his class into dressing as cheerleaders in the second season because he says that they're doing a cheer competition between the females in the classes and they have to change. So he literally gets them all to change into the cheerleader outfits just to feel one of his perverted ideas.
Is he also is he one of the characters who would also tease people if they're interacting or something like that? Because I know very little. I know Momo and Todoroki, are those their names? Apparently they are close.
So he's one who gets jealous. So if someone has an obvious crush or something and it's not on him, he gets jealous of that. If he's better than you at something, he's ranked, I think right at the center of the class. He's ranked 10 because he in Japanese classes, they rank you and all that. And he makes fun of the people who are ranked lower than him who need help with studying for the classes, regular exam tests. So it's that's just another thing wrong with him. It's rather than offer to help someone who's struggling in your class, he makes fun of them for it.
And I can co-sign on to that. I would have to be defending a lot of the people in my group Oop, and then you say, I'm so jealous. Like, you see, how is it fair that you and Patty are together? We're not together. Why does everybody keep saying that? It's so weird. Who's starting this rumor? But yeah, I can co-sign on to that. I had to bring that joke back because people apparently like it.
All right.
All right, my next honorable mention,
Go right ahead.
Mikasa from Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Look, I really like Mikasa, and the Attack on Titan video game does an excellent job of showing her to her. When you interact with her and you build your bond, when your character builds up your bond with her, she shows that she basically admits you, Armin, and Eren are just as special to me. Like, she really grows to love your character. At the same time, though, I feel like she would be very miserable without Eren around, and I don't want Eren hanging around me. And I don't know, she is a bit tough to read sometimes. I don't know how much of Attack on Titan you've seen, but I feel like you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah, because pretty much isn't willing to. From my understanding, Aaron's become the bad guy at the end of the series, and and she's pretty much not willing to fight him, and he pretty much calls her worthless for not being able to fight him, and it's just, yeah, her. I don't want to say it's an abusive relationship because I don't know if it's. I haven't seen past like the start of season 2, so I don't know, like what is said between them at that point. But yeah, I can understand. She's very obsessed with Eren.
Yeah, like I said, though, she's an honorable mention because she is a good friend to have, and she's one of those characters who I want to be friends with her, primarily because she seems like she's had such a rough life, and I'd be like, look, just have some ice cream with us. We're good. But I do see it being very, very difficult, which is why she's an honorable mention.
All right.
And my last honorable... Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
I can co-sign. That's all I was going to say, so.
All right, my last honorable mention?
Okay.
Okay, Harley from Pokemon.
Okay.
Do you remember Harley?
Yes, just like a cacturn.
Yeah. Look, I fully admit that Harley is one of those characters I probably shouldn't like as much as I do. I remember, in fact, you saying when I said, I'd like Harley to return in Journeys, you told me that wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense if May's not there. And I'm like, I don't really care. He's just funny enough. He's funny enough that I'm willing to void all logic with him being in the show. That being said, as a friend, he seems terrible. He's manipulative. He lies a lot. He's not a person who you'd want to be friends with. He's one of those people who I laugh at him because he gets his comeuppance and because he's funny in the show. But if I had to spend too much time with this guy, we would get into a fight and it would not be a fun one.
Yeah, I can understand that. He's entertaining to watch from a distance.
Yes.
He's like the class clown in your school. You don't want to be friends with them because more than likely they're going to get in trouble and somehow they're going to drag you into it. But if you're across the room, it's fine to watch and laugh when they do something stupid or hilarious.
Yeah, not to mention he's very mean to May, and I feel like you and I would both be cool with May. We're just like, hey, back off, dude. She's our friend, and he calls people his brood of boy. Oh, May, how are you and your brood of boy toys? I'm like, I don't like being called that. Plus, he's petty enough to get under our skin and find ways to get to us. Like, I know specifically for you, he'd say something along the lines of, yeah, well, you're more forgettable than the GS ball, and you would not be happy with that.
Yeah, he'd probably end up with a black eye.
Yeah, and he'd say something, I'll throw it even in my direction. He'd say something to me along the lines of, it's just like, well, no matter what, Alex, you may hate me, you may not like me, but I get more screen time than Brendan ever would, and I'd be like, maybe you should leave. Maybe you should go, because we're gonna mess you up. So overall, like I said, Harley is kind of like Vince McMahon. From a distance, he seems hilarious, but I don't think we'd be the best of friends.
Exactly. I just hope he doesn't ask for a steak wrap.
Yeah, very true. But to be fair, Vince probably pays better than Harley would.
He pays?
let's move on. Okay, so overall, who's your last character? Because I know for a fact you do not have the same character as me.
This one is pretty much a villain until the end of season 1 in the series, and that's I'm gonna mess this up. It's Motoyasu Kitamaru from The Rising of the Shield Hero.
Okay.
So he's the spear hero. So he's kind of the main, not antagonist, but rival, I guess, for the main character in the series. He's just a dick. Like, they don't even listen to the. For those who don't know, The Rising of the Shield Hero started out with one of the biggest controversies, I think, in recent anime, with what is the right thing to do? Automatically believe the person who says that they were assaulted, or try or look for the evidence and see what happened with the other see the other person's side of the story.
Ironically, that happened right around the same time in real life. It's weird how stuff like that happens.
So the main character is accused of assaulting pretty much the main antagonist for the first season.
And this isn't the same character you're talking about. That's on your list, correct?
No.
All right, I just want to be sure for anybody who might be confused.
This person 100% backs the princess who is the one who's accusing. I'm trying not to spoil too much, but
okay, that's okay. All right.
And throughout the first season, he's constantly undoing what the Shield Hero does. Like, the Shield Hero saves a village from stuff, and the Spear Hero shows up and says, "Well, I'm taking lordship of this village." Then, but they don't want anything to do with him. They actually like the Shield Hero. They keep saying, "Well, the Shield Hero is bad," through the princess, and this guy he's a dick to the main character. He's easily manipulated by the princess. Like, even after it's revealed the truth that she lied to everything, he still keeps her around. She's still pretty much free to do whatever she wants and manipulate him. It's just he's such an idiot, and he doesn't grow. Even like as things go on and stuff started being revealed, like, oh, it's actually like a whole bunch of different video game systems that are actually interconnected, and the main hero realizes it and tries to explain it to him. He still doesn't seem to understand that and thinks it's only like his game, so he's only gaining strength at like a quarter of what he could be now.
Yeah, I co-sign. This guy sounds like the worst. I've hesitated to watch this show because that first controversy you told me about, when I first heard about it, my blood was boiling, and not in the sense of I want you to get your comeuppance, but in like, really? I want to get into it right now. This is not the episode to be having that conversation. But overall, I can co-sign. I agree with you.
I picked him over the main antagonist because at the start it looks like he could be a good friend because he is trying to be friendly, but after that first few episodes, it's just like, no.
Yeah, and I can co-sign on to that.
All right. So your final one?
All right. My final character, who I just don't think would be a very good friend to have, Serena from Pokemon. I'm kidding. I just wanted to see how people would react to that. In all honesty, it's Kyubey from Madoka Magica. Puella Madoka, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Look, I love cats. I love the 2 new cats I have downstairs. They are incredible. But this is one of the most evil, untrustworthy things in anime I've ever seen. It's basically, hey, you get a free wish. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool, but you also have to become a magical girl, which, first of all, I don't think the dress would look that good on me. Second of all, it seems like whenever you make a wish thanks to this little cat abomination thing, nothing seems to go right. There's always a catch. And it doesn't even seem like the catch benefits them in the sense of, oh, I gained this new form or anything like that. It seems to be more along the lines of, oh, I just did it because that's kind of how our species is programmed. Not the specific terms, but you know what I mean by that.
It follows the monkey paw
Yeah.
design where, oh, I wish for my kid to come back to life. Oh, well, now there's a walking corpse outside my door.
Yeah, I wish for my kid to come back to life. Oh, well, your kid is Ash Ketchum. I hope you're happy. I'm not. But it just, I don't know. I still call it he because that seems to be what the characters seem to call it, and everybody else, but apparently it might be an it. I don't know. Overall, it just doesn't seem like something I could trust. It's not that funny. It's not that helpful. It's manipulative. It's evil. Kyubey, it's just not something you want to be friends with. It's just, there's so much that could go wrong to the point where you're like, is it worth it? No. At least all the other characters on my list have some quality that I could be like, I could see this. Like, Yumihara can be nice. Nice Patty can be fun to hang around. Harley is funny if I send him on somebody else. But Kyubey? No thanks. No thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen much of the series, but I know enough about it to know that, yeah, this character is very dark for such a cute character, I guess is the right term for it.
Yeah, and if I wanted something that was very dark for somebody who looks very cute, I'd hang out with you more, but I don't, so there.
I don't know how to react to that now.
You shouldn't, you're a terrible person. Like Kyubey, except Kyubey is much more fluffy. At least I think. I don't think anybody ever pets him or anything, but Kyubey, not my favorite, not my friend, never get lost.
Yeah, I'll 100% co-sign, because, I mean, this leads to also the formation of the witches, pretty much, if I remember correctly, from what I understand in the series, which leads to the end of the universe multiple times.
Yeah, overall, just not worth it. But are we ready to close out?
Yep.
I sure hope so, because there are people outside working on their house, which nobody bothered to tell me about, but I'm sure me saying that's not going to come back to bite me at any point. But overall, ladies, gentlemen, and others, who are some characters in anime that you don't think you'd be friends with? Don't just say characters who you don't like. Maybe include some characters that you think, I like them, but overall, not my favorite person. Just that sort of thing. Not just heroes, villains, indifferent, etc., etc. Let us know.
Exactly. Again, I don't hate all these characters. It's just I wouldn't be friends with any of them, I don't think.
Yeah. And for me, it's not necessarily I wouldn't be friends with them. It's just we would have to go through an initiation process, because some of them do seem cool, but it's more like a what's the catch sort of thing.
All right.
But anyways, let us know. Oh, and do us all a favor. Smash that like button. Stack the subscribe button and pin that notification bell. Oh, and we will be back with some more content, and we will see you next time. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you have been listening to the Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.